TV. This is the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
All right, good evening. We hope you're having a fantastic day and had a good weekend. But we are coming at a time when Kenya is in mourning because of the current road traffic accidents that have been ongoing. There's a statement that has just come in from the Ministry of Transport indicating that 2,933 people died since January to date. That's about 8 months. If you do the math, it means 366 people have died every month. That means 12 people per day. In the last 4 days, it's been particularly really bad because 80 people have died in the last 4 days in road accidents. So what is going on? What is increasing the road carnage? And that's a conversation we're having with Dr. Andrew Kiplagat. He's the Director of Road Safety at the National Transport and Safety Authority, that is the NTSA. Francis Major will be joining us. He's the former Director General at NTSA. We find out from him, looking inside from outside, what is really going on at the NTSA? Are they doing their best to make sure the road carnage is reduced? Patricia Mudeu is here. She's the CEO of Matatu Owners Association. She's currently in Homa Bay. She'll be joining us online from Beta to find out from them. Are their drivers reckless? Are they the ones causing the road accidents? That's the conversation we're having. And Owuor Otet is an international road safety expert and trainer. He's based in Qatar, but he's in the country. So we'll be speaking to him online from CI as well to find out from him, what are they doing differently compared to Kenya? That's a conversation we're going to have later on at Trevor Ombija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. That's how you can find us. But first, our top stories tonight.
Nimeongeza kidogo. Sasa Sunday tukishinda hivi kila mtu 2.5 million.
Seeing stars and millions, Kenya's Chant campaign turns into a fortune journey as Ruto doubles winning bonus to 2.5 million shillings. Ticket sales halted for Kasarani marches as CAF warns FKF of hefty fines over breaches in Kenya-Morocco game.
Since he seems to have a lot of information, it is laughable.
He must be held accountable. Interior CS Murkomen demands former DP explains and records a statement over Al-Shabaab claims. 3 shallow graves with dictators ensure effective crowd management and fully comply with CAF security requirements have not been implemented. Therefore, they're recommending CAF is mandating the following measures for all the upcoming Kenya home matches at Kasarani. 1, capacity restriction, which is a maximum of 60% of the stadium capacity. That is 27,000 tickets strictly. Ticketing, entry will be strictly limited to electronic ticket holders. Thermal tickets will be prohibited. Public Accountability and Compliance Campaign, LOC, that is a local organizing committee and government to launch a public media campaign reinforcing safety protocols and entry requirements. CAF expects full and immediate compliance with these directives, which they say failure to implement them may result in more serious sanctions, which may include the consideration of alternative venues for future matches of the host team. They've highlighted the several instances which they say are major security lapses, one of them being overrunning of the stadium gates and PSAs by ticketless spectators. Another one is initial crowd control failure at Gomongo roundabout, use of tear gas and flash grenades causing panic, violent incidents including stone throwing at security personnel, inadequate police response despite requests for intervention, no medical incident reports submitted following reported injuries, insufficient communication tools and lack of CCTV coverage at critical entry points. Those are the major security lapses that CAF is saying that following those incidences, there's now mandating the following measures for all the upcoming Kenya home matches at Kasarani, and they've highlighted 3 of them. 1, capacity restriction. They say only a maximum of 60% of stadium capacity, in bracket 27,000 tickets, will be allowed. The ticketing entries will be strictly limited to electronic ticket holders only. Thermal tickets will be prohibited. And the third and the last one is Public Accountability and Compliance Campaign. They say the local organizing committee and the government should launch a public media campaign reinforcing safety protocols and entry requirements. They say that this is CAF expecting full and immediate compliance with all these directives. Failure to implement them may result to more serious sanctions, which may include the consideration of alternative venues for future matches of the host team. This is a letter coming through from CAF over the breaches that have been seen in the CHAN tournament here in Kenya. Apart from that, in what appears to be the beginning of another political showdown, the government insists that the DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua must, upon his return, substantiate his claims that Kenya's fifth administration is conducting business with terror groups. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen reiterated on Monday that Gachagua must record a statement regarding his weekend allegations, warning that the former deputy president has crossed the red line and must defend his claims or face accountability. Kamau Mwangi has more.
Having declared he would not record any statement with police upon his return, the government has now reminded former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that he will indeed be required to do so. Speaking in Narok County while presiding over the Jukwaa la Usalama Public Engagement Forum, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen reiterated that the former DP must substantiate his claims before the DCI, warning that the government will no longer tolerate attempts to tarnish the country's image.
If the former deputy president is not going to record a statement about what he said about Al-Shabaab and the country, then the right thing for him is we check him in a mental institution for mental assessment.
Gachagua alleged that President Ruto met with top Al-Shabaab commanders to negotiate the release of 5 abducted regional chiefs. He also accused Ruto of directly supporting the war in Sudan by siding with the Rapid Support Forces RSF.
I would have expected a certain level of responsibility on the part of the former deputy president, notwithstanding his status as an impeached former deputy president. He will realize that there are certain boundaries that you cannot do politics with.
The people who have initiated investigations is the American Senate. So if there is need for us to help in investigations, we'll help the American Senate, not the Kenya government.
Murkomen, dismissing Gachagua's allegations as baseless, has called on the DCP leader to stop making unfounded accusations, saying they stem from bitterness over being pushed out of government.
It is laughable that a citizen of the Republic of Kenya who is seeking high office is telling the citizens of this country would rather appear before a senate of another country than his own country. We are not stupid people. You can see through his hypocrisy.
Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua has hit out at ODM chief Raila Odinga, claiming he has been misleading his supporters and using them as a bargaining chip to get into government he opposed. Gachagua, who spoke during an engagement with Kenyans living in Southern California and America, rallied them to kick both Odinga and President William Ruto from office in the 2027 general election.
Every election cycle, he has been mobilizing my cousins. The minute he gets there, he doesn't intend to be president. He has no such intention. He's not interested. He likes power, but with no responsibility. He doesn't want to take responsibility. So he creates problems. He is invited into government and starts eating. And that is why, like now, he is quiet. Because he's a very good observer of good manners. When you're on the table eating, you don't talk. So these cousins now have found their way as a family. And now all the cousins are talking the same language. So I saw Tinga the other day crying about cousins. He was crying in a funeral. Instead of mourning the late Phoebe Asio, he was mourning the loss of cousins from his grip.
Now, police in Kilifi County are investigating more deaths connected to a suspected cult in the Kwabinzaro area located within the vast Chakama Ranch. The latest discovery of 3 shallow graves containing fresh human bones and skulls has raised fears of more deaths linked to cult practices. Emily Chebet has the details.
2 human skulls and human bones that are believed to have been dug out by hyenas in Kwabinzaro area, few kilometers from Shakahola, has led to a discovery of 3 more shallow graves. The residents of Kwabinzaro within the Chakama Ranch reported the incident after noticing human bones that had been scattered in the thicket.
We've seen bones, we've seen ribs, we've seen head shells that were recovered there. And I think the police have confirmed this. But this is a shame. This is a shame from our Ministry of Interior that we wait until a disaster occurs. That's when we start being reactive instead of being or have been proactive.
According to the county's Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss Robert Kinge, homicide detectives are back at the forest to investigate the matter that is similar to the Shakahola massacre that claimed more than 400 lives in 2023.
Hyenas are digging the Kwabinzaro area, Shakahola 2. Hyenas are eating dead bodies. The exhumation process that was supposed to be done by the government, it is unfortunately that is being done by wild animal. This is the total disrespect of a human being.
Tangu lini miili ya wapenda wetu ikaanza kufukuliwa na fisi? Chenye tunauliza ni serikali mko wapi? Tunataka usaidizi, mkuje tufukue ile miili.
Just last month, police rescued 4 individuals and are investigating the mysterious deaths of at least 3 others in another suspected case of religious radicalization in the same village. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV.
Now, preparations for the Devolution conference in Homa Bay County are ongoing, with more than 10,000 delegates expected to attend the 3-day conference. The hospitality industry has made a kill, with the people now pouring in from neighboring counties to seek food and accommodation. And as Loro Tino now reports, the locals have also expressed optimism, hoping to reap more fruits even post the conference.
With barely hours before the official opening of the Devolution conference in Homa Bay, the town has come alive as visitors droop in from across the country. The bustling trade presenting a business jackpot for local traders who have recorded an influx of clients, with some spilling over to Kisii County in search of food and accommodation.
Changamoto ile tumeona, tuna rooms. So unapata umekuja, so umepaka hapo, hamuna mahali pa kulala, itabidi ulale tu hapo kwa hiyo tent yako.
Biashara pia leo naona kama iko sambamba. Hii street yenye niko na hapa saa hii inaitwa Fibiasio Street. Hii street iko namna hivi. Hii ni mambo ya Devolution ndio imefanya ikuwe hivi.
Earlier, thousands of people took part in the Roan Antelope Half Marathon at the Roma National Park, one of the events lined up ahead of the conference.
My message to the nation, let us run. It is a cause for unity. It is a celebration of our heritage, and we are the home of champions.
But we're also running for tourism. We want to up the numbers of people coming to the Roma National Park, but also experiencing Homa Bay generally, because we have over 16 islands of Lake Victoria that can be visited. We have a national park, you know. We have that dual experience that many counties do not have, and our country is open for tourism.
With over 10,000 delegates expected to troop into Homa Bay County between today and Friday, residents have expressed optimism, hoping that the goodies will last all through after the Devolution conference. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV, in Homa Bay.
Now, the High Court has directed the Director of Public Prosecutions respond to a case seeking the prosecution of Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat over the death of blogger Albert Ojwang. Justice Bahati Mwamuye issued the order even as Lagat argued that the decision on whether to charge him lies solely with the DPP and not the court. According to Lagat, compelling the DPP to institute criminal proceedings against him would amount to an unconstitutional misuse of the DPP's powers. Lagat, through his lawyer Cecil Miller, has argued that there is no evidence linking him to the torture and murder of Albert Ojwang, who died at Central Police Station in Nairobi. The matter, which was filed by 17 civil rights activists, will now be mentioned on September 25th. The National Police Service Commission, that's the NPSC, will adopt technology in the upcoming police recruitment process to curb corruption and enhance transparency. While collecting views during public participation forum at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, the Commission assured Kenyans of a fair and credible exercise aimed at recruiting 10,000 police constables. Francis Ode with the details.
They arrived armed with a draft, National Police Service Commission Recruitment and Appointment Regulations 2025.
we discuss it before moving.
An exercise that was conducted simultaneously across 17 counties. In Nairobi, the Commission held the public participation at the KICC, where they received both oral and written memoranda on the proposed regulations.
Are expected to adhere to the established.
Those who appeared before the Commission questioning the transparency in the recruitment of the 10,000 recruits.
Kwa sababu hata kama ni online, wewe utaenda kwa cyber, ukiapply hiyo kitu itaenda kwa mkono ya mkubwa huko. Mkubwa wa mtoto yake akiapply atapata link. Ama hata hawa askari unaona, askari mdogo akiapply hapati link mtoto yake. Askari mkubwa akiapply atapata link. Kwa hivyo nikiongea kwa niaba ya wananchi wengi, wananchi wamekataa mambo ya online.
If you change directly, if you take the direct change over to the system recruitment, that will be a monster that you're creating. And I pray that it does not bite you, the Commission. So, if you must insist on taking the system shortlisting, kindly, let there be a manual or parallel manual way of people to apply. Please, because this is something I'm predicting, we'll get a blow like the one Commission got below the belt on that 30th October, first floor, Milliman Law Court, room number 3.
Those in the service questioned the criteria used in hiring graduate officers at a higher rank at the expense of thousands of qualified graduates already within the service.
Now you are recruiting a fresh graduate from university who has just completed a degree in animal husbandry. This is the only place where I've heard there is no experience required. And when you are recruiting graduates, you recruit about 800. In the service, we have more than 2,000 graduates. What about them? Is that not violation? Is that not segregations? What do we call it?
Majority of officers pushing for streamlining of the recruitment process, which they say could face credibility crisis.
An iron sharpen an iron. You cannot have somebody who has not done a paramilitary war going and recruiting somebody who will be doing a paramilitary.
Regarding affirmative action, that is included in the system. And it's part of the data-driven decision-making I am talking about. If we receive applications from a certain area and most of them don't meet the minimum threshold, that is a D+, we go lower.
They've assured us that if one has failed the medical test at the training ground, the replacement will be done in the same constituency.
Now, billed as transformative guidelines to be deployed in the next recruitment, the draft guideline seems to be a hurdle within the police service, even as it heads to the parliament for consideration. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
All right, we're taking a quick break here on Monday Report. When we come back, I'll take you through a couple of stories and then later on we'll have a conversation on Kenya's road safety crisis. Why? Because a statement that has come in from the Ministry of Transport signed by the CS Davis Chirchir has indicated that 2,933 people died on the roads from January to August. That's about 8 months. That means 367 people died every month. That's about 13 every day. And in the last 4 days, 80 people died on road accidents. So the question is, what is going on? Why is the road carnage increasing? Is it the road design? Is it human error? Is it the capacity of the vehicles? What is it? Is it the state of maintenance? That's a conversation we're having with Dr. Andrew Kiplagat, who's the Director of Road Safety, NTSA. Francis Major is the former Director General, NTSA. Patricia Mudeu, the CEO, Matatu Owners Association. We're having challenges getting her. We may speak to Maurice Oduor, who's the General Secretary, Matatu Workers Union instead. And Owur Otet, a road safety expert and trainer, International Road Transport Unit based in Qatar, but is in the country, will tell us what they are doing differently from what we as a country are doing. That conversation coming up in just a bit. Send in your views and your questions and comments at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. See you in just a bit. Thanks for staying with the Monday Report. I'm looking at a letter addressed to the Chan 2024 Local Organizing Committee from CAF imposing measures for upcoming fixtures in Kasarani involving the host nation, which is definitely Kenya. They're saying despite multiple warnings and previous sanctions, the necessary measures to control ticketless spectators, ensure effective crowd management, and fully comply with CAF security requirements have not been implemented in Kenya. They say there's a major security lapse, including overrunning of stadium gates and the initial crowd control failure at Ngomongo, use of tear gas and flash grenades causing panic, and violent incidents including stone throwing at security personnel, inadequate police response despite repeated requests for intervention, no medical incident reports submitted following reported injuries, insufficient communication tools, and lack of CCTV coverage at critical points. They say these incidents now present an acceptable risk to spectators, staff, and the integrity of the tournament. And as a result, they say, CAF is mandating the following measures for all the upcoming Kenya home matches at Kasarani specifically. Capacity restriction, maximum of 60% of stadium capacity, that is 27,000 tickets. Entry strictly limited to electronic ticket holders. Thermal tickets will be prohibited immediately. Public accountability and compliance campaign. LOC and government to launch a public media campaign enforcing safety protocols and entry requirements. CAF now says they expect full and immediate compliance with all these directives. Failure to implement them may result into more serious sanctions, which may include the consideration of alternative venues for future matches for the host team. That is a letter that has been sent to the Local Organizing Committee Chan 2024 Chair Nicholas Musonye from CAF, giving the measures that they say have to be implemented immediately following the breach in security and the major security lapses at the Kasarani Stadium. Apart from that now, preparations for the Devolution Conference in Homa Bay County are ongoing, with more than 10,000 delegates expected to attend the three-day conference. The hospitality industry has made a kill, with the people pouring in from neighboring counties to seek food and accommodation. And as Laura Otieno now reports, the locals have also expressed optimism, hoping that they will reap the fruits even in the future.
At the Homa Bay Fish Market, 44-year-old Jacinta Anyango carefully takes stock of her catch. For the past 11 years, this mother of 5 has been a fish vendor, having moved from Migori County in search of better opportunities. Jacinta is among the 400 traders who have now settled in this market, which was commissioned by President William Ruto in May. The poor sanitation that once plagued the fish market is now a thing of the past, tucked away in memory.
Tunachukua maji bure na ile samani tunanunua maji. Sasa kwa hiyo tumepongezi hapo. Tumeanza hapa, stima iko sawa, maji iko sawa. Tumepiga sante. Na pale ya kuweka samaki pia iko. Tunaweka bure.
Hawa wenye wanauza samaki wako na vile wanakaa vizuri. Lakini sisi vile tunachoma hapa, tunateseka. Jua ndio hiyo, moto ndio hiyo. Sasa naomba wenye wanaweza tusaidia tujenge hapa vizuri, at least tukae mahali pazuri.
The entire traders as the trading zone, both wholesalers and the traders and the leadership here for the market, they are well appraised in terms of awareness on how to make and sustain this as a well modern market with proper waste management mechanism and also compliance, security surveillance, and all awareness mechanisms in terms of public health regulations. That's why, as you can see, we have instructed all the traders here to have the waste receptacles. So as we also provide the waste, the bin liners, and even the skip that's there, and a number of waste bins that we have provided here, stakeholders themselves must also take this responsibility upon themselves to ensure matters, sanity, and standards of waste management are to the threshold.
In a bid to provide dignified spaces for retail businesses, the county government has upgraded several markets, including the Homa Bay market funded by the World Bank with a capacity of 2,000 traders, the Oyugis market which accommodates up to 1,300 traders, as well as modern markets in Ramba and Ndewa constituency. However, traders are now calling for increased support to boost their earnings.
Sasa samaki kuna maji mzuri. Shiro hapa sokoni ni mzuri. Hakuna pale tunasililia ati hakuna hii. Samaki nakuja. Sasa capital tunalilia pesa kama tunaanza na 50k. Hiyo ndio mzuri tukipata biashara itakuwa juu sana kuliko saa hii tuko naye hapa.
Just at the end of the last financial year, I assented to our trade fund bill, which is now an act, which is a fund that we've put together to support our small-scale traders. So we have, this year, we have a budget of 80 million shillings, which we are going to be giving to our small-scale traders. So we want to partner with financial institutions that can also help them in capacity building.
In the last financial year, Homa Bay County raised 1.2 billion shillings in own source revenue. These funds are now being invested to improve service delivery across key sectors, including health, education, and infrastructure.
You know, what we found was a situation where there was a revenue department, and it was their job to collect revenue. But you see, revenue follows service. So every department is supposed to offer a service so that revenue comes. So we've made it our business. So we put in a revenue board, we put in laws for a revenue board, we put in laws for revenue administration. We instituted administrative measures like a revenue roundtable monthly where I am providing leadership from the front as far as revenue collection is concerned.
The devolved unit is also exploring opportunities to use Lake Victoria as a getaway for exporting goods to the East African community.
The opening up of this market has changed the fortunes for hundreds of traders within Homa Bay town. And now, Homa Bay County is looking to ink more deals under the private-public partnership in order to turn the tide for thousands other traders to expose them to larger markets. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV, in Homa Bay County.
Well, all eyes are now in Homa Bay, where the Devolution conference kicks off from tomorrow over the next 3 days, and the focus is on strengthening devolved units for prosperity. And away from that, now to a rather bizarre story here. A 90-year-old man in Nyamilu, that's in Migori County, has shocked many as he embraces a unique lifestyle, that of living in a cave for 3 decades now. Johnson Nyagana built a shelter underground and made it a home. And as our reporter Miriam Nyambura now reports, Nyagana says he's at peace.
In the quiet village of Nyamilu, Migori County, the overgrown grass, scattered bricks welcome us. At a glance, one would mistake that this compound is abandoned. But a closer look around here will get you wondering. This cave, Johnson Nyagana's home. Nyagana has subdivided the rooms into a sitting room, bedrooms, a kitchen, and even an upper sleeping area. He narrates how life is for him.
I sleep here, but when it rains, I move to the other bedroom. This is my house.
His creativity drew him to dig a water reservoir. The soil dug from here was used to make bricks. He displays them around the compound, hoping a buyer will spot them.
But the more I work, the more I live in the world, my most important master is God.
Nyagana is determined to continue with constructing more structures. Despite the challenges, these incomplete structures still motivate him. He carefully arranges wooden rods and sticks, creating a hallway. Just 300 meters from his compound lies this grave. He dug for himself right beside his wife's resting place.
I will be buried here. I dug my own grave out of love.
Miriam Nyambura, Citizen TV.
Government defends proposed sale of Kenya Pipeline Company even as Parliament pokes holes on. Badi has defended the planned privatization of the Kenya Pipeline Company, telling a joint parliamentary committee that the move will unlock billions for infrastructure and spur economic growth. But members of Parliament have raised tough questions, poking holes in the process and warning of potential pitfalls. Dennis Otieno has more.
Appearing before a joint committee on energy and committee on public debt and privatization, National Treasury CS John Badi described the proposed listing of Kenya Pipeline on the Nairobi Securities Exchange as a clear sign of the maturity of the economy.
You will agree, honorable members, that unlike taxation, privatization never reduces private sector wealth. In most cases, it encourages the propensity to invest and hence enhance aggregate demand, which in the long run would widen the revenue base.
The government plans to offload 65% of its stake through an initial public offering, targeting 100 billion shillings, while retaining majority control at 35%. Mbadi cited privatization successes in the past as key.
To the last IPO, that is Safaricom IPO, done in 2008, where we went to the market to raise Kenya shillings 50 billion, and the capital markets responded with an oversubscription of 500%. This is the kind of success we would want to replicate, and we are confident that we have. Looking back at the privatization of one of the key institutions in communication space, that is Safaricom, which is the best privatization model in our privatization history.
We've forgotten that we have also had notable failures. The first one, and which we deal with every day in this committee, is Kenya Airways. We have another one called East African Portland Cement. We have another one called Mumias. We have Uchumi Supermarkets. So don't give us examples that sell your case, but forget the obvious examples.
But MPs questioned the entire process and pressed him on possible risks, including litigation, job losses, and rushed timelines.
And the government wants to sell KPC to raise 100 billion shillings. There will be still a balance of 800 plus deficit in our budget.
I would like to join my colleague in asking why the hurry now, and especially we've passed the budget for 2025, and Bwana CS, you're telling the country that we're supposed to raise this 100 billion to finance our budget. Now my question would be, what if Parliament fails to approve?
Please don't protect your turf. You may end up protecting nothing. Because if the company fails, you'll all go home anyway. So allow strategic investors to come in. You may, in the long run, protect your job.
Treasury is racing to meet its September IPO launch date, but with MPs yet to be convinced, the fate of the Kenya pipeline sale now rests on whether the government can win over Parliament and the public. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV.
Now, Equity Group has posted a 17% jump in half-year profit after tax to 34.6 billion shillings, up from 29.6 billion shillings last year. The performance, the lender says, is driven by higher interest income and reduced costs. The group also recorded its strongest quarterly performance in history at 22.9 billion shillings in the second quarter of 2025. Jasmine Wamboi has the details.
I'm a startup executive.
Equity Group's profits have grown sharply despite the tough economic conditions. In the first 6 months of the year, the bank posted a net profit of 34.6 billion shillings. In the second quarter alone, the bank made a record 22.9 billion shillings in profit before tax, much higher than its average over the past 4 years.
What does this show? It shows the resilience we have been able to build in the group during this transformation.
The performance was boosted by a 9% rise in net interest income, an 18% drop in interest expenses, and a 34% reduction in loan loss provisions. The lender's loan book grew 4% to 825.1 billion shillings. Customer deposits rose 2% to 1.32 trillion shillings, and total assets climbed 3% to 1.8 trillion shillings. Shareholders' funds increased by 25%, while earnings per share rose by 16% to 8 shillings and 80 cents.
We have been telling it as a story, but it appears we have won the trust and the confidence of investors. So we have seen a structural positioning, and we're very excited to see that the social security funds in the region now anchor the bank.
Subsidiaries registered strong recoveries, with profit after tax rising by 40% in Kenya and Uganda, 75% in Tanzania, and 22% in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Regional banking units now contribute half of the group's deposits, loan book, and revenue. The group has credited the results to its transformation strategy, including governance changes, technology upgrades, and a focus on critical sectors such as agriculture, mining, and SMEs. Jasmine Wambui, Citizen TV.
Now, the government is seeking to raise 293.6 billion shillings through the public-private partnership to fund capital-intensive infrastructure projects. Among the projects to be considered are the revival of the Galana Kulalu Food Security Project and 35 megawatts 22 geothermal power plant projects. Now, speaking during the public-private symposium aimed at exploring key areas of collaboration, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi called on public officials to embrace PPPs for the good of the country. Jimmy Mbogo has more.
Public-private partnership continues to provide fiscal relief for the National Treasury, catering to key development projects. According to the PPP Directorate, the framework has provided over 123.1 billion shillings to fund at least 5 projects, the majority of which are in the road sector, even as the government seeks to raise an additional 293.6 billion shillings for more projects. The government has further introduced more projects for investors to take up, which include 2,820 affordable housing units subsidized with 200 market rate units in Athi River, a 3,000 capacity tuition facility and an accommodation facility for students at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, a 4,000 bed capacity student hostel for the University of Nairobi's main campus, as well as a 2,000-bed capacity hospital for Pwani Teaching and Referral Hospital in Kilifi.
So in total, we have 34 projects sitting at the national level and 3 projects at the county level. We do appreciate there is quite a potential within the county governments which we can capitalize on. And that's something that we want to embark on a serious note.
If we succeed with all these projects, it's going to reduce pressure significantly on our fiscal space, and therefore we will have money to take care of other pressing and urgent needs, as I have just mentioned. But besides that, it would also help us manage our debt. Our debt levels had reached unsustainable levels. But I will tell you, I am very proud that we are managing our debt.
Investors have been urged to take advantage of the viable investment-ready project, even as CS Mbadi called on public servants to resist the temptation to gatekeep and frustrate the success of the public-private partnership, noting that most of the time, resistance comes from the public sector. Investors, on the other hand, have called for inclusion in the structuring of projects to increase uptake.
I know in the past we have not been involved in structuring, but we are requesting the government not to prepare the projects to conclusion without involving us as the investors. If we are involved at the early stages of structuring, we should be able to actually make sure there's a full uptake.
Actually, a lot of propaganda comes from public sector players around PPP. Please don't resist. Allow it. It is the way to go, as I said. So let us embrace partnership, not bureaucracy. Let us not get into too much bureaucracy. Let us become facilitators, not gatekeepers.
Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir further urged investors to act fast and take advantage of the available investment opportunities across the country before it is too late, cautioning that delays could see them placed on the government waiting list that might stretch beyond decades.
So if you don't come in early enough and basically give us the supply which matches the demand, we run into that problem of having to tell you your slot is 2035, 2040, 2050. So it's good for you to really look at us early and confirm what we need to do together today, so that you don't have to be coming around our offices tomorrow asking us that we help you to jump the queue.
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, organic farming has been touted as the most ideal agriculture practice for sustainable and environmentally friendly food production. At a time when more consumers are now preferring organic food products, the demand for organic input is growing. This is one of the reasons Mildred Day founded Greencom, a venture making organic fertilizer using black soldier flies in Nakuru. Edward Chair tells us more in our Made in Kenya segment.
Free area market in Nakuru City.
traders in their stalls selling groceries. At the corner, others are collecting organic waste and stuffing it into bins. This is their routine to keep the market clean.
Hapo mbeleni kaa ungekuja, hii soko mainzi walikuwa wamejaa. Panya, yani zikitoka tu hivi, zinakuja kuharibu vyakula. Kama ni upande wa matunda, ungekuta kama ni avocado zimekurakuliwa.
The collected waste does not end up in the dump site. Instead, it is taken to Greencom, a venture that turns it into organic fertilizer, a perfect alternative to synthetic farm inputs.
Wakizichukua wakienda wakisiaga, huwa wanapaki kwa magunia. Na mtu akienda pale, unanunua, unaenda kufanya nini? Kupanda.
We transform organic waste, and in this we transform it using two methods. We have the black soldier fly and also the windrow composting. So when we transform this waste, we're able to get the organic fertilizer, and also we get the insect-based protein feed.
At Greencom, the process starts with crushing of the collected organic waste. There are several cages of the black soldier flies here, where their flies lay eggs, which are then hatched into larvae. It is these larvae that are used to eat into the frass.
At the larvae cage, that's where now we breed the fly, where now we get the eggs. After we take the eggs and we hatch them and we get the larvae. Then we now feed them from 10 kg of waste from the market that we've crushed. Within 14 days, they have matured to a level that we can harvest them, and we also have our frass. We leave 30% for continuing the colony, and the other 70% we process to feeds. And the frass, we take it for composting. After that, we are able to get our fertilizers.
The organic inputs are then sold to farmers across Nakuru County and beyond. Through this process, Greencom is enhancing circularity, at the same time helping to manage waste within Nakuru County.
In a month, we handle 30 to 40 tons of waste. With the black soldier fly larvae, it's an insect-based protein feed. This is an alternative to the common one that we use, the fish-based omena and the legume.
Greencom has partnered with institutions such as Egerton University to enhance their research on best practices and meet the set standards for their organic products.
They are the ones who do now validation of our product. We do extensive research through the Egerton Nakuru Living Lab to ensure that our products meet the standards. From there now we do trials at farmers' fields.
The venture is also offering practical training to interested researchers and has created employment opportunities for more than 10 people.
I've been encouraged and empowered by Greencom to know that waste is wealth. And as a youth, be that person who wants to explore widely, come and train with us, because there's a BSF technology that we want to train more youth and to empower them.
The future plan for Greencom is to roll out more facilities in the country and train more youth to embrace the black soldier fly technology to put more organic products into the market.
We are intending that we are going to train more youth, at least 5 in every market. If you're going to do the 100 markets and we have 5 teams of youth, that is 500 jobs created.
Edward Chwea, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Business News, brought to you by Definite Assurance. It's a definite that life has lots of miscellaneous risks, meaning you have to be insured against burglary in your home and business. Have a group personal accident cover and Weber. It's a definite, you need Definite Assurance. Uko nao?
Sports News, brought to you by... Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Time now for some sporting action, and Robert Kiprop and Gladys Chepkirui are the 2025 Uasin Gishu Half Marathon champions following a stellar performance in the race held in Eldoret on Sunday. Kiprop, the 2019 All-African Games winner over 5,000 meters, clocked an impressive 1 hour to storm to victory in the men's race, finishing ahead of Peter Tuitok and Titus Kiprotich. On her part, Chepkirui timed 1 hour 8 minutes and 56 seconds to cut the tape first, as Vivian Cherotich and Christine Dambi finished second and third. It was an improved performance by both Kiprop and Chepkirui from last year's edition of the race, where they finished 10th and 3rd respectively. Joshua Giduku, who won the men's race last year, settled for 5th place. Alfred Cheriot defended his title in this year's Rowan Antelope Half Marathon at Ruma National Park in Homa Bay County. The athlete from Elgeyo Marakwet County managed to beat more than 100 athletes who took part in the race aimed at saving Rowan Antelope. This is the second time Cheriot became a man of interest in the marathon after winning the same 21 kilometers race during the first marathon held in 2023. Alex Ngeiwo from Bungoma County came second in the race. Frederick Domongole from West Pokot came third, while Nancy Cherop won in the women's category. The top 3 winners were awarded 250,000 shillings, 100,000 shillings, and 75,000 shillings, respectively. The 4-ball team of Dilash Bayani, DS Bachu, Ashit Shah, and Rasesh Bakai emerged as the overall team champions of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour, cutting an impressive 107 points at the par 72 Sigona Golf Course. They edged out the 4-ball of Bupinda Semir, Imran Nanji, Nishwal Shah, and Gopal Savani, who secured second place with 106 points on countback. Both teams have booked their spots in the tour's grand finale set for December 5th, 2025. Handicap 16 golfer Palkesh Shah produced an outstanding round, cutting 41 Stableford points to claim the overall winner's title of the day. He edged out fellow Handicap 16 player Pritesh Patel on countback, with Patel settling for the overall runner-up position. Bethuel Ogwayo, playing off Handicap 15, posted 39